Welcome to Final Friday Planner Collaboration for May 2017. As always, check the description box below for the links to the other Final Friday collaborators. Check out Christy, Shemi, Kaylee, and Pam for more great planner inspiration. This week for mine, we're going to repurpose the Hello Month page in a different way. We're going to do a monthly spread. And we're going to do a weekly spread where I've changed things up a bit and we have some new stuff.
Hi everybody, Creative Katie, Karen Burchill. It is time for another Final Friday. May zoomed by. It was a good month in so many ways, but I didn't end up doing a whole lot in my planner. And that's what typically happens to me when stress goes up and I get really busy. And we were trying to do landscaping, and in the midst of it, we finally sold our house in Saskatchewan. So we were extremely happy and doing a happy dance in that regard. And now we're ready to turn the page, turn to a new month, and see where that takes us. Anybody who's ever had two properties and is waiting for one to sell really understands the stresses that go with that. And it really seemed to grow in April and in May. It was affecting my sleep. It was affecting my creativity. It just really was there, and things were a struggle and stuff. So I'm just going to flip through. We had our monthly spread here. I liked having a little bit more details on here, and I'm not sure if you can see this, but I've also done some doodling around the stenciling, and I've talked about that in some of my videos, whereas I leave it at a certain degree, and then if I want to do that, I can, this page isn't done yet and stuff. We have my gratitude page here with and it's all just scribbled in kind of thing, and I really like having that. And then we have, oops, let me zoom out so you can actually see some of my spreads, and some of it's planned and some of it I found I didn't use it a whole lot. You see a lot of blank spaces here. Just a reflection of what's going on. And in fact, this spread, I ended up doing it was Thursday before it even got edited and got done. And I questioned whether I should just do it or not. And I said, no, you know what, I'm just gonna do quick and easy, because sometimes that happens to all of us. And I just wanted to show everybody that throw something down. They all don't have to be as elaborate. You design what you do in your planner, and it needs to reflect how you need your planner, and it needs to be able to change according to the things that are going on in your life. So this was last week's planner, and I did something a little different with the brayered paper that I had also done some stenciling and stamping on. And just, I love the simple effect. So this is this week's, because Final Friday is the 26th, and I just kind of changed up my, the way I'm doing it. I left the top section, and that's just going to be kind of household to-dos and landscaping to-dos. We are landscaping a new yard, and I need, because of just my mobility and pain and stuff, I need to break that up into little bits, and so I thought I would do that there. The middle part, we are starting a new kind of diet plan, so I need more space for that. So that is, and I've already got that all set to go. Tomorrow's Monday the 22nd, but we're, so that's already ready to go. And then the bottom is going to be my creative parts. So that's going to change how I create, because I want all the space. So not as much will be happening in the middle parts, just how it goes. So today in Final Friday, as per usual, we are going to do the Hello Month page and repurpose it. And I'm still undecided. I'm on the fence about whether I'm going to continue with the gratitude page or surprise you and do something else there. We will do the month spread, and we will also do the first week in June, which is actually May 29th to June 4th. If you see here, we pretty much have the same color that May was. Like May had this, but then it was green, and I think I made the mistake there. That should have been kind of the green tones, and this should have been the corally colors. So I was kind of deciding, do I just cover this all up and pick a totally different color, or do I continue to go on in that same tone? Okay, so I went through my stuff and I really did an about face, because I was going to go with yellow and orange, kind of go away from the pink because this was more pinky, and I was going to go more towards the orange color. And then I decided, you know what, last month I should have done green, and so this month I'm actually going to use kind of green and yellow. So I went and I pulled my fresh lime, my cut grass, and my lemon zest, and I have some white linen here that I'm either going to apply with all of these to make it a little bit softer. I find that Illusions paints are wonderful and they're bright and vibrant, but for what I want maybe a little bit softer, more kind of this tone.
So we're going to do the Hello Month page and repurpose this because I don't use it the way it is. So it's just like a blank sheet of paper. And now that I've selected my yellow-green color scheme, I am going to pull jelly prints. This is a process I go through at the beginning of every month. Once I determine the color, just go through and get these things all at the ready. By going through this, I also see how much I actually have. Here's some ATC cards that also have those colors that may be used for those cards. I also have a few stickers that kind of are in that same color scheme. And I noticed quickly that, I'm going to have to actually make some more of the stickers in that color. So I pull out some blank stickers of different sizes and shapes, and I'm going to have those at the ready. So I'm still going to be using the Illusions paints, and I'm just showing some of the other materials that I've just pulled here to potentially use on these planners. Now, as I was searching through my scraps, I came across this jelly print, and I absolutely loved it, and I was inspired by it. So I grabbed this stencil. It's called Segmented Swirl. It is an Americana stencil, and it's one of my favorites. It works well on jelly prints, on journal pages. I like putting texture paste through it, gel medium through it. It's just an all-around good stencil. So I'll put a link to that and other things that I use in the creation of these 3 parts in the description box below. And if you're searching for those things, I'm just going to make that a little easier for you. So this one I am doing very differently than I've done the other gratitude pages. Here I am using white gesso. I want to basically have a white background, and then the segmented swirls in the colors of my scheme. So I want to push back and dull some of this writing and color that's on this page. And I know I'm not going to get it all. I also had the question of what will happen to my page if I put gesso on it. And so I was very quick to dry. And just to give you a heads up, the gesso that I have is fairly thick. So there's not a whole lot of moisture in it. It's also old, so it's kind of dried up a little bit. So I don't end up with any problems with that. But I did take the extra precaution of drying very quickly and doing repeated layers and making sure I dried in between. And I have to say that it warped a little bit, but it's still within the realms of what I would accept. Make that decision based on the gesso that you have. So it's still because it's still showing through, I decided to grab my Dilutions white and go over it. And that seems to knock it back enough to the point where I'm quite happy with it. I don't think it's going to be too much in your face. I think it's a combination of the gesso and the white Dilutions paints successfully pushes it back. So I'm placing this stencil, again its name is Segmented Swirl, on here, and I'm just going to tape this down. While I'm not looking for a precise stenciled image, I do want to get the best that I can. And this just kind of hedges my bets and keeps it all good. So I'm going to use the Dilutions paints in the 3 colors that I've chosen, starting with the lightest one. And I'm simply applying it here and there. Not too much thought, not too much energy going into this. This Segmented Swirl stencil is, as I said, an Americana stencil and one of my faves. And if I'm repeating myself, I'm sorry. I had some issues with the voiceovers, so I'm having to repeat this, so I'm not sure if I've said it in this segment or not. And the reveal. And I just love it. You know, the unpredictability of how the colors blend and how it shows up. Now my goal here is going to be to use this as a gratitude page, and either with my metallic Sakura Jelly Roll pens or just a regular ballpoint pen, I'm just going to write in things that I'm grateful for. Now since I have more paint on each of these applicators and I have the stencils here, I decide to just kind of keep moving this stencil around and applying different colors and getting this lovely pattern on these cards that are cut to ATC size. As I discovered when I went through my stash to see what I had that was in this color scheme, I didn't have very many things, so I knew that after I finished the gratitude page that I would be taking the leftover paint as well as more paint and just taking the time while everything's out to build up things that are in that color scheme. Then I decide that I need to edge this with green. Black would be totally out of place here. And then I'm doing some of the labels. These are the reinforcements that I'll find some use for, and each one's going to look slightly different. Some are going to be more yellow, some are going to be more green, lighter, darker, and that's kind of the fun of it. Once you peel them off and you use them on the page, they really do show their best. And as you can see, I'm none too particular about how I'm applying the paint. I'm just kind of getting it on there. Now the problem with doing this way, you don't know what your actual purpose is going to be. So you may, have too much of something that you've colored or not enough. So I grab this stencil, and it is a Crafter's Workshop stencil. I tried to find it on Amazon, and I couldn't find it, but I did order it on there. If I find the name, I will include it in the description box, but I had looked, and I couldn't find it. But I find this one is It works with jelly prints as well as on journal pages and iCads. It's just very, very versatile. And those are the kind of stencils you want to spend money on. This stencil is one that I cut from a silhouette cut file. But whether you're doing art projects, art journal projects, or whatever you're doing, have some of these ATCs, have some stickers right handy, and you can always be using up the leftover paint, whether you um, use the felt applicator to apply it as I am here. A little bit later, I do some smooshing to get onto these background, the ATCs and the stickers. Right? Get in the habit of having those things at the ready. Anybody that knew me, when I started doing art journaling and stuff, green was not a color that showed up very often at all, if ever. And it has, as I've done more and more creating, I seem to be open to a whole lot more colors and combinations. Kind of looking to see what it's going to look like when I peel it off. Now I'm just wetting up the piles here, and I'm just going to do some smooshing on a couple ATC cards. And now I'm just soaking the felt applicators with water, and I'm going to grab a coffee filter and get out even more of that paint. You pretty much have to do this to clean these felt applicators anyways, so I will have several coffee filters, which I love collaging with, and these will just be stuck in my files in my big blue box storage bin. And once I take out as much as I can, I just throw it in the bin of water and it comes out. And you're able to use the felt applicators again and again and again. They've lasted a long time. But they do get to a point, especially if I leave the acrylic paint dry on it, where I've had to, it's gone on to better things. So now we're on to the monthly spread. And last week I stenciled with a small stencil. I kept kind of moving it around. And this week I have a bigger stencil. And I'm deliberately picking stencils from my stash that I haven't used for a long time. Now I love this stencil, and when I'm done this, I remember exactly why. And I think that's another great side effect of using decorating your planner, because you're just discovering new things. Because my goal is to, yes, have a nice, colorful, unique planner, but also have one that uses the stuff that I have and stuff that I have forgotten I had. So kind of rediscovering things. Really liking that. I'm thinking it needs a dark green border. I don't do anything about that at this point in time. So I'm just masking off the edges so I don't go where I don't want to go. And I mixed up the felt daubers, so they're going into the water, and I grab a couple newer ones. I do have Velcro underneath, and I have it stick right on underneath the mini distress inks, but for some reason that has gone missing and kind of got mixed up with the felt applicators that I use for my Dilutions paints. I'm thinking now that I could probably do some doodling um, in the area that's left white. So I use some dark green acrylic paint, and I'm just stamping on this leftover sticker paper. And on the monthly spread, I put things that kind of are routine. So I put these stickers that I'm putting now are for the dates that we can drop off yard waste or garden waste. Then I'm going to put in um, when we do when there's recycling and when the garbage pickup as well. I'm keeping track of all of that. And I'm just showing you that I used this darker green acrylic paint just so those stickers could stand out. They were too light initially. So now I'm going to my calendar on my phone and I'm just checking any important birthdays or anniversaries, and then I'm just adding a sticker on the monthly calendar. At the beginning of the week, I kind of transfer, I look back at the monthly calendar and transfer any information, any important dates or appointments or anything that was written there, I will put on to the weekly spread as well. Last month was the first month that I really did anything with the monthly planner, and I'm really enjoying having it. So these are dollar store stickers that I've had, and I'm putting this sticker on June 6th. This is You and Me. That's the anniversary of when my husband proposed to me. So I'm just putting that sticker there. And on June 1st, the new owners of our house in Saskatchewan take possession. So I'm just building a house with some jelly prints that I have that are in that green color. Nothing too fancy, nothing too artistic, just kind of a way of representing what's going on. And using your jelly prints, you can make banners or balloons or whatever you want to decorate your monthly spread. I have the sentiment stamps from Fiskars, and there's a link to that in the description box if you're interested. They have some really, I like the fonts and the size of them, and this one's all about memories and different things. So it's perfect for the planner as well as for ATCs or tags. And I'm using my green StazOn to do that. Now, same with the green StazOn, I'm stamping in the times and dates of my Aquafit classes. Having some trouble with my pit pins, just not working. They seem to work when I'm not on camera, and then as soon as I go on camera, they seem to stop. Very frustrating. And I'm just going to stamp kind of a to-do list, things I need to remember, big event items. It's just a place to put things that are going to be happening in June. And another sticker from my dollar store stickers that I bought that I never really used on ATCs or art journal pages. And that brings us to our weekly spread. And I am using this sticker. And I realized right about here that I am not going to have enough of that pattern to do both of these lines. And I'm putting these lines there to cover up the coral color because I've decided that this is going to be a green and yellow spread. So it's a quick, easy way of doing it. Yes, you could get washi tape and do the exact same thing, but with using these stickers and these labels, you can decorate them to fit your color scheme to a T. Every color scheme is possible, and it doesn't require a trip to the store. And then leftovers, or not many leftovers. So I was thinking of putting a label there and then decided not to. Most times when I sit down and turn on the camera to do my planner, I don't necessarily have a solid plan about what's going to happen. So I'm thinking as I'm going. So the middle part, this week's spread, I'm kind of changing things up a little bit. We are doing the Shred weight loss program, and it has 4 meals. So I'm going to use that middle section for my meal planning and keeping track of things with regarding that. So I've just decided to divide up each rectangle into 4 areas, and then I can write it in very easily. The top part I'm going to leave as a to-do. There's going to be household and landscaping. Here you see me, I grabbed a completed ATC that had a green butterfly on it, and it has kind of that lime green to it as well. So I figured, well, that matches. And here I'm just gluing a jelly print onto the other side, which I'm going to then create another ATC, which sits in my planner and decorates my planner and it gives me inspiration. And then afterwards, I take it off and I put it into a disc-bound system. So I've edged this with green acrylic paint, and I decide I want a little bit more bling and I don't want as much white. So I just spray it with my Lindy sprays. I sprayed it with a gold and green lantern, something lantern, I'm not sure. It didn't quite turn out the way I want it, but it did give that color. And when you look at the color wheel, that color that it is a shade, there you go, of the yellow. So it's just going to make it fit in to the entire scheme. So I decide to create some whimsical birds here. Now I've seen tons of posts on Pinterest with these different birds, and everyone's made just a little bit different. If you want to see a video where someone makes them, you can go to Cat Hand. I believe she did it in her Mixed Media Morsel series. And I'm just using my jelly prints to get that. And I picked ones that have texture and that coordinate well. And I like the way that the orange colors in my jelly prints coordinates with the background. So it looks like it's kind of green grass in the background and these little birds in the foreground. And I'm outlining with my Posca pen. I'm more apt to do kind of shading or highlighting with my Stabilo than outlining with a black pen. It's amazing how once you give these little creatures eyes, they just come to life. And I'm giving him some feet and legs. And you'll see that the orange is right next to the yellows, and it's in those 5 colors, those analogous colors, and that's why it works so well. I'll put a link to the video, the Mixed Media Technique Tag video, where I talked about picking colors that work together, the analogous color schemes. When I learned about that, it just made so much sense to me. Everything kind of came into focus at that time. I've really wanted to get into collage, using my jelly prints for that, and braided papers and different things. And so that's kind of why I chose to do this ATC. And hopefully you'll see me do some more art journal pages, um, collaging, um, doing things like this on a bigger scale. Kind of struggling with my white pens here. They're not quite working. Now these are my Just Sayings, my do-it-yourself word stickers. And I'll put a link to the video that I talk about that. And as well, if you go to my blog, and the link to that is in the description box, I kind of give the rundown of how I did it. And there's also a downloadable document where I have all these words done. You can just then pick your font and print it off on sticker paper. Now, if you don't have a printer at home, if you take it to Staples or any of these places, they will print it for you. I decided that with this weight loss thing, that they keep track of exercise as well as water. So I'm just going to put this circle on here, and I'm not sure if I'm going to just color in the center of the reinforcement when I do exercise, or if I'm just going to color it in when I drink my 4 glasses of water, or 8 glasses of water. I had this one little leftover sticker that has some gold and green and yellow, and I just cut it to shape and size and stuck it in the corner and outlined it with my Jelly Roll pen. And I have these flowers, these 3D flowers that I absolutely love, that I got from the dollar store. And I'm just going to cut out a Just Sayings and put that there. Just a little bit of inspiration, a little pop of color. And before I put it down, I'm just outlining it or highlighting the edges, edging it with the green acrylic paint. The background is so faint, I needed something to separate it. And I just store them in these plastic containers that I also got from the dollar store. Really happy with that little bird ATC. Now in this CD case, I have all my hearts stickers. There's one complete set that I got from the dollar store, and then I have all these little hearts that, you know, 1 or 2 of them were in a lot of different sets, and I just put them all in one place. So whenever I want a heart, big or small, they're all in that one CD. Little organization tip for you. And then I'm going to put the yellow here. And it's while doing this that I realized, come up with another idea for something to do on a planner. So you have to come back and see what I end up doing. I find the best ideas come to me when I'm in the midst of creating something. So we're putting that back in. And we're good for another week. So we have my gratitude page where I'm going to write in the monthly spread. I'm going to add a few more details, personal items, and then the weekly spread. I hope you're enjoying using your mixed media techniques and using your stash to create in your planner, be it a happy planner or not. Any kind of planner does it. It could even be a blank sheet. I just like using my stash and creating some happy pages. If you like what you see, want to see more, give me a thumbs up, share the video with people you think might be interested in it, as well as leave a comment. I answer every single comment that I get. I think in the summer months I may just be going to doing my planner videos every second week. So if you don't see one next week, that's kind of why, but I will always kind of do a recap. I am going to continue decorating my planner. I just won't be necessarily doing a video every week. Thanks for watching. Check out my art journal videos as well as my technique tag videos.